What's up, everybody? This is Cool Dude, still alive, and we're here with the second of the Cuphead difficulty tier lists. Now, if you haven't seen the last one that I made, regular difficulty, go check that out if you haven't already. But if you have, we're here with the list that, honestly, I was more looking forward to, because I personally enjoy the game more on expert mode. I don't know, I just feel like I've gotten used to expert mode. I play expert mode quite a bit, so, I don't know, I like it. It's a lot of fun. That being said, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and rank all the bosses on difficulty, this time on expert mode. So, the last one on regular difficulty, I ranked it based on sort of how hard it is for your first time going through it, because, you know, if you're playing on regular, chances are it's your first time going through it, because that's how you beat the game the first time through. So that's how I kind of ranked those. Expert, I'm going to do it a little differently. Expert, I'm more ranking these based on how different they are from their regular counterpart, like how many more extra moves they do, how hard some of their stuff is compared to how they are in regular mode, and so forth, so on and so forth. And not only that, but I'm also ranking these, not entirely, but just a bit, on how hard they are to S rank. Now, S rank is basically beating the boss without damage, taking any damage, or having 3 HP, basically, getting 3 parries, doing your 6 super meters on the bosses, and having a good time bonus, and so forth, you know. So, that's not the entire reason or how I'm ranking them, but it is playing a little factor, so. And maybe I'm biased because I have S-ranked all the bosses, that's why I feel obligated to do it that way, but whatever. It's not 100% how it is, but it is going to be taken into effect. So with all that being said, let's go through it. Let's get started with it. So, first tier, pretty self-explanatory, easy breezy. These are the expert bosses that are not too bad compared to their regular counterparts. They're the easiest ones to do if you just want to, you know, beat a boss really easily on expert and feel like a boss. Sally's stage play, she's easy on regular, and she's just as easy on expert. Really, not much changes in this fight. It is slightly harder if you want to do the secret phase. I don't think I mentioned that in the first regular one, but you can do it on regular or expert. Secret phase is at least a little harder for me, personally. It gives you more parry opportunities, but it's a little harder. But anyway, Sally's stage play, you know, still is easy breezy. Howling Aces, it's the easiest boss in DLC regularly, and it's no exception here. Expert, it's pretty much the same story. The first phase doesn't feel that much harder. Second phase is just as easy as it is normally, and the third phase, I think there is a few more lasers to it, and sometimes the bowl patterns when the things get flipped up on sideways can be a little tricky to do, but other than that, it's probably the easiest one to S rank. Like, if you want to get that achievement that's in the game where you have to S rank a boss on Inkwell Isle 4, this is the one you want to do, because it's the easiest one. Captain Briny Beard, it's the same story as regular mode. The first phase is easy, although, you know, it is a bit hectic still in the first phase before the ship comes alive, but if you've played it on regular, you can handle it on expert. That's my rationale for that, so it's not that much harder. Root Pack and Goopy Legrande, it's the same story. I'm not going to go over it. It's, you know, play it on regular, it's the same thing on experts. Nothing much really changes. I mean, the tiers and the potato attacks are a bit faster on expert, but it's nothing compared to the others. And then we have semi-easy. These are the ones that maybe 1 or 2 phases or attacks might throw you off and throw you for a loop, but other than that, it's nothing too crazy. We have Werner Vermin kicking off this tier. Werner Vermin's one of the easiest bosses on regular. The only reason I put him slightly higher than that on semi-easy is because, me personally, I struggle a bit with the second phase. And on expert mode, a lot more of the bottle caps come out, and they're a lot faster, and it's a bit more hectic on that one. But it still goes by pretty quick, so you can get through it relatively easy. So, you know, that's why he's on semi-easy, not easy, but he's still easy. Grim Matchstick, I know a lot of people say he's, you know, very hard, one of the hardest bosses ever. But yeah, I don't think he's that bad on expert, especially compared to the other DLC ones that have been out. And like I said in the regular bosses video, if you haven't seen it, please watch it, but I said in that one that the change in expert from the clouds going a different direction in the last phase makes the last phase in the expert mode a lot easier than it is on regular. So that's why I think on expert it's actually a lot easier to do Grim Matchstick than on regular. So that's why he's here on semi-easy. Then we have the Phantom Express. Phantom Express, the same story as the regular mode. It's pretty easy, nothing too crazy aside from the gimmick, but if you've played it on regular, you know the gimmick by now. I think the guy at the beginning, the Spectre, Eye Spectre, shoots a lot more eyes, and I don't know if there's any much different outside of that, and the health boost obviously. But yeah, it's the same story. It's easy. Cagney Carnation, I put him on semi-easy. He was on easy, breezy, and regular. The only reason I put him on semi-easy because when he does the stupid spam of the machine gun attack, that's very, very annoying to deal with. I mean, there's ways to counteract it. You know, you can do the crack shot, whatever. But aside of that, you know, it's pretty annoying to deal with, and he does it very, very often. But once you get past that, he's the same story as regular. Moonshine Mob. Easier, I think, on expert than on regular, because on regular you're kind of thrown for a loop, like, whoa, with all the new stuff going through the platforms and whatnot. But on expert, you know all that stuff, and not much changes in the attacks and how much harder they are. So Moonshine Mob is on semi-easy. Becky the Clown, again, sort of the same as Moonshine Mob. That's kind of a pattern with some of the bottom tier people. But Becky the Clown, not much changes from expert. The only reason he's on semi-easy though and not easy breezy is because of the balloon phase, the second phase. There's a lot more balloons, and sometimes you get really unlucky with jumping on the train and the balloon spawns right on you, or you're trying to dash through something or jump to hit him and you just get hit by the balloon. So that's why he's on semi-easy, not easy breezy. But outside of that, it's easy. It's you know, obviously semi-easy. But then we have Baroness von Bonbon rounding up the semi-easies. The minions are not too crazy. Most of them aren't too crazy in terms of what's different about them. I mean, the jelly beans starting off a lot earlier could be a bit problematic if you're trying to navigate through it, but it's not too bad. What really lands Baroness von Bonbon this high on semi-easy is the final phase. The final phase is very crazy. It's very hectic. And the only real difference on expert is that she throws the head a lot more, and the head targets you a lot more frequently at a faster rate, and I think 2 heads at a time can be on screen while the other one's going away and she throws a new one. So that's that, and with that whole thing going around, last phase can be a bit of a race, a bit of a hectic race, so that's why she's rounding out semi-easy. Then we go into the decently hards. These are the bosses that, if you're playing on expert, these are the first ones that you're going to be like, whoa, okay. I can see how this is going to be a lot tougher than normal. I mean, but still, it's still doable. Still plenty doable, but it's like the first time you start to really feel the expert in expert mode. Starting it off, we have Ribby and Croaks. First phase, some of the first phase, the fact they attack both at the same time, they do the fists and the flies, might throw you for a loop, but not too terribly bad, especially because it's the start of the fight. Second phase, also plenty easy, except for the whole thing of he throws the fists in that one instead of the, shooting the weird energy thing, whatever it is, from his hands at the start of that. But again, not too crazy. What really lands him decently hard is, of course, the third final phase with the slot machine. Kind of like it is on regular mode, it's still the hardest part of the fight. Especially on expert, because the coins shoot out really, really fast, so you have to be on your toes when you're trying to parry the thing and to try to get him to do his attacks and actually damage him. And I think the snake platforms are a lot faster, and that can be a bit disorienting. At least for me, it's very disorienting, and I can just lose focus very easily on that. The tigers aren't too bad, and the bulls aren't too bad, but the snake platforms, and the fact that the coins shoot out really fast, that's what lands them on decently hard. Jimmy the Great, decently hard. Jimmy the Great, not much changes from his regular fight here on expert. I think he shoots out a lot more crap in the first phase and the dummy phase, which you can skip on the new DLC version of the game with being a mini plane, and then you can spawn the secret phase, but that'll make the last phase last a lot longer. But if you're better at that, you can do that. But yeah, not much changes with Jimmy, so that's why he's still on decently hard. He's still a good challenge, but he's not the worst, but he's pretty tough. Then we have Rumor Honey Bottoms. It's pretty much the same story as regular. I mean, the platforms aren't any less annoying in this. Getting hit by stuff off screen isn't less annoying in this. It's just, it's very much the same. In fact, I think the phase when she starts shooting stuff is a lot easier, at least in my experience. Maybe I'm alone on this, but I think on expert, whenever I play it, she summons less stuff, like the balls and the triangles and all that. She summons a lot less of them. In regular, she summons 2, one after another, but on expert, he only summons 1. I mean, it travels a lot faster, but still, it feels a lot easier. But that's why she's on decently hard. King Dice, if you've seen the regular video, it's the same thing on expert. King Dice is just here because it depends on how you're going about it, or how good you are at parrying, and it depends on very different things. You could make the actual road to get there a lot easier. I mean, the mini bosses obviously are harder, they go a lot faster, whatever, but King Dice is still the same story. You can pick the bosses you want to go through, you can play it the way you want to do it, and whatever makes it easier for you, so that's why he's in the middle middle of the road here in terms of difficulty. Then we have Cala Maria. If you played it on regular and you struggled through it quite a bit, Cala Maria is not going to be too bad here on expert. A few attacks are changed around. She shoots a lot more stuff, like the electric yellow fish that she shoots out. But other than that, Cala Maria is the exact same story. I keep saying other than that a lot. I noticed in these videos, and yeah, that's very annoying. But anyway, I'm not sorry. So around topping off decently hard, we have the Devil. The Devil, if you've played it on regular, my experience anyway, once you play it on regular, you pretty much know the ins and outs of the Devil. I mean, you might die a couple times because you're trying to get reacquainted with him once again, but really not much is switched around for expert with him, at least in my experience. He's the same story as regular, so but it's still a decent challenge, at least for me. I think the Devil is still quite difficult. I don't think he's as easy as a lot of people say, but anyway, that's why the Devil is here on decently hard. Then we get into the next tier, which is hard. These are the bosses that you're going to struggle with quite a bit. You're going to struggle with quite a decent amount, like more than a handful of times on this one. It's not like decently hard. These are the ones you're going to get frustrated with. So first up in this is Dr. Claw's robot. Now, if you've seen the regular, you know he was on the top tier before, but now he's bumped down to hard. Mainly, the reason for that is just because, like most of the bosses here, like with the exception of shooting more stuff out at you, he's really just the same thing as in regular, but the thing that lands him in hard is that he's still Dr. Claw's robot, and it still throws people for quite a loop. But there are abilities that you can use, charms that you use that can counteract him, and that you can make him a lot easier, so that's why he's here on hard and not too much higher than that. So that's why Dr. Claw is here. Next we have Mortimer Freeze. Mortimer Freeze, he's a pain in the rear on this one. He's a lot harder than he is on regular, a lot harder. And he's already a bit of a decent challenge for me, at least in my opinion, on, regular mode. So, the fact that he's here, it's a real testament to how annoying he is. The first phase is not too terribly bad, nothing too crazy there. The second phase, the ice cubes can be a bit of a nuisance on that one. I mean, the ice cubes are already kind of problematic in the regular difficulty, but on expert especially, it's just, there's a lot more coming out and, trying to hit you. So that can be very, very aggravating. But what really lands him this high is the final phase. For me, the final phase is very aggravating to get through. It is extremely annoying. All the crap that he shoots at you, and he shoots it really fast. The cone things that he shoots out from the 5 directions aren't too bad. The ones that he shoots, the bucket things or whatever that break off into moons, that are one of them is parryable. That one can be really obnoxious to do if you're in a bad spot. But what really sucks about this is the eyeball thing, the eyeball laser. You play it on regular, the eyeball is the easiest attack. It literally only shoots like 3-4 times. In this one on expert, it shoots like 6-8 times on this, and it covers like a whole row of the screen when you're playing it. So that is very, very, very aggravating to get through. So, and on top of, you have to jump on platforms and stay on them the entire time. Yeah, and you have a boss that is very, very just tedious and aggravating to get through on experts. Rounding out the hard tier here is Glumstone the Giant, who is already a tough battle in regular mode, because in the first phase especially, and the second phase, because there's a lot shooting at you. But on expert, it's just exacerbated, which means to make worse. Look it up, Google it. But yeah, just the first phase, there's a lot more stuff going on. The geese attack especially is just a nightmare to deal with on expert mode. It is an absolute nightmare. And I know there's a way to do it, and there's people, there's a way to go about it, but I suck at that, okay? I'm not the best at Cuphead. I'm not good at jumping down, dashing through, and then jumping back on the platform. I'm just not good at it. The bear attack is also obnoxious. I mean, there's a way to dodge his hitbox, but it's a tight window. The gnomes shooting out are still annoying. I think there's a lot more of them on expert, and they shoot a lot more crap. But then the second phase is, yeah, I hate it. I hate it a lot. I mean, I already don't like it on regular, but on expert especially, the gnomes shoot out like every other frickin' second on screen, and all the while you have to keep aiming up or shoot up at the boss itself, trying to bounce the ball around with his hand puppets. It's a nightmare. At least for me, managing the gnomes. I still can't do it. And then the final phase with the intestines is still the easiest part of the fight, but it can throw you for a loop if you're not, used to parrying the thing to reset them all. And they go by really quickly compared to regular. You don't get time to really breathe and shoot up at the boss and shoot at the gnome shooting the crap at you from the sides. You have to like be on your toes in the final phase. So that can throw a lot of people. But yeah, that's why Glumstone lands this high on hard, because he's tough, and especially trying to S rank it, trying to not take any hits. He can be a challenge. Then we get to the top tier. The top tier, challenging. These are the bosses that are just the absolute worst. These are the bosses that you're gonna just want to pull your hair out, that you're just gonna want to quit the game altogether, because these just are, oh my god, they're bad on expert. First up, we have Esther Winchester, which is one of my favorite bosses in the game. I still love playing her. She is just one of the best bosses in the game, one of the most fun I ever in the game. But that still doesn't excuse the fact she is really hard on expert, really hard. First phase is already very crowded, but the dynamite sticks are a lot. There's a lot more of them shooting up, so the first phase is still as annoying as regular mode. The second phase is extremely annoying, more annoying in this one than on regular, because the safes that fall from the sky and shoot the money at you. They're a lot faster. They fall a lot faster, and a lot more of them target you all at once. So that can really make you feel claustrophobic, that whole second phase. And then you have the third phase with her running as the sausages, weird sausage cow thingy-mabob, whatever. And the things coming at you, the screen goes by really fast. I mean, regular, it's a bit quick, but this one, it's like, you barely have time to you have to be really lightning quick on your reaction, and knowing which sausages are blocking which way, and like where to shoot them, and her trying to dodge all the crap. You have to be on your toes a lot with that, and trying to parry the stakes especially. That's going to be challenging. But then you get to the last phase, and the last phase isn't really the hardest part of it. But at that point, you're probably going to be very nervous. Your hands are sweating. You're trying to just get through it, trying to get by, and you're like, come on, and you're going to take some stupid hits probably in this phase, trying to get through the sausage links, which they do go substantially faster in this one, which makes it definitely a step harder than regular. But yeah, and like the fight as a whole, Esther Winchester is just a nightmare. And plane levels, in my opinion, are already harder than the ground levels in terms of fighting bosses that way. But then combined with all the stuff you have to dodge with Esther Winchester, especially trying to S rank this boss, is just that's a pretty good challenge. If you want to give yourself just a really good challenging boss to play through, this is the good one to do it. Esther Winchester is, she's tough. And then after her, we have Hildeberg. Hildeberg on expert is a completely different story than on regular. Regular, she's going to be one of the first ones that are like, wow, okay, this game's kind of hard. This one's kind of tough, especially in the final phase. But expert Hildeberg is a whole nother level. She's just, like, the mini Zeppelins are annoying to deal with. The fact they have to deal with both the Sagittarius and the Gemini twin phases are annoying in this one. They don't give you the Taurus one, which is the easiest part of the fight, usually, but they don't give you that. You have to fight both of the ones that are randomly generated in the regular one. So that's annoying to deal with. There's so many mini Zeppelins on screen in the later part of the fight, which are very obnoxious, especially trying to get those parryable ones, and she doesn't shoot nearly as many of them out. And I know you can parry in the last phase with the moon, with the stars, but they don't always shoot out, and the stars can sometimes be in a very inconvenient place. So for me, it's a lot easier to do it on the mini Zeppelin part, and they don't always shoot them out. And it's very, with everything going on, it's a lot. But then, yes, the final phase with her shooting the UFOs out of the sky. The UFOs are a lot quicker, and you have to be on your toes. You have to really be able to recognize, like going through the red ones and trying to trigger the brown ones early. And it's, oh my god, Hildeberg's going to throw you very hard. It's going to throw you very hard. And if you're able to get through her consistently, able to do it, just without fail, constantly over and over and over again, I applaud you. You are skilled. You are a true Cuphead master. But anyway, and that's why Hildeberg lands this high, because she is, it's going to be the first boss. The first boss, because, if you're doing it on expert, you're likely doing it in order, unless you're a weirdo and want to do it the opposite way. But if you're doing it in order, this is going to be the first boss that's like, is this what expert mode is? Oh my god, I'm not ready for this. Help me, please. I'm a baby. Anyway, but just above Hildeberg, and a lot of people give me crap for putting him this high, because he's like, oh, he's not that hard. I don't care. I don't know how good you are at this. If you're good at this boss, an expert, all the more power to you. But really, literally, no joke, right above her is Wally Warbles, because, oh my god, I hate this boss on expert. Like, this expert fight is honestly the reason, like, Wally Warbles is already not a very, like, crazy out there boss, which is why he's really low on the list of enjoyable for me. But what especially puts him that low, honestly, a big part of it is because Expert is just so obnoxious to deal with. I hate fighting him on Expert because he's so hard. He's the worst plane level for me, especially even with Esther Winchester. And like, she does a lot of crap, but Wally is just so obnoxious. I hate playing him on Expert. So let's just break it down, top to bottom. First phase is the most obnoxious first phase on Expert, in my opinion. I mean, no, not the worst. Well, let me not lie to myself here. There's one Expert, what I know, a lot of you know, that's the worst. But he's like the second worst first phase for me, because it's just, not only are you shooting the eggs that break off in 5, you can't hug the wall anymore, you can't do it anymore. And I know there's a way to like go slightly above the wall and still, hit him and dodge, but my brain doesn't, I'm not smart, okay? I'm dumb, okay? I can't think like that. But not only that, you have to be right in front of this guy's freaking face, especially if you're trying to S-rank him, because his time limit is so freaking tight. Don't make any of the "that's what she said" jokes. But yeah, it is so narrow. It is such a small window to get to. So if you want to do consistent damage and get him on time, you have to be right in front of his face. But he's shooting the eggs and he's shooting the damn bullets and the birds are still coming out from the side. So it's just, oh my god, it's so aggravating. But once you survive that, you still got to get through the bullet hell, which is not that bad on Expert. It's still the easiest part of the fight. The feathers, I think, are slightly faster, but it's nothing too bad. And then you get to the third phase, which the eggs, I know it's not hard, but the eggs, the shells that revolve around his sun, still go in a weird way, and I'm still not used to it, so that's why I still struggle quite a little bit with it. Not a lot, but just a bit, just enough to make me mad. But then, once all that's said and done, you still have the worst part of the fight for me, which is the final phase, because there's just so much crap on screen, and especially on Expert. The medic birds are shooting the pills one after another, and on Expert they shoot a lot more frequently, and they target you. Then you have the trash can attack, which is obnoxious. It covers like basically the whole screen, and you have to, dodge it without hitting the boss, because when you hit the boss, you get, you lose a heart or a hit point. And then you have the heart that he shoots out of his body, which spits the bullets at you, and he does it 2 times in the Expert. And just what really makes it obnoxious for me is that I usually when I'm fighting this boss, I like to go down to where his butt is. Just don't look into that. But I like to go down there and just shoot with the bullets and then do the missiles, because that does the most damage to him. But it's a lot easier when he's on the opposite side of the screen, when he's on the right side of the screen, because it's easy, right? Because there's not a lot to dodge. Everything is manageable. But once he goes to the left side of the screen, and he's right under you, it's just like, oh my god, holy crap, it's so hard, because you have to dodge a million things on screen if you want to keep the damage consistent. That is why Wally Warbles, I don't care what anyone says, I don't care if you think it's easy, I really don't care, it's my opinion, and in my opinion, he's still obnoxious. I still hate Wally Warbles on Expert. He is so hard, and I dread every time I play the game on Expert and want to do it. I'm just like, oh, I gotta play Wally Warbles again, I don't want to do it, but I do it anyway, and just screw you, Wally, I hate you, you're so hard. But not the hardest, because ladies and gentlemen, if you know Cuphead, if you've played the DLC, you know damn well what the top one was going to be. You knew what it was going to be before you clicked on the video, and that is Chef effin' Saltbaker. Oh my god, this is Chef Saltbaker on Expert. Okay, look, beating him on Expert, it's doable, but it's still very hard. It's still extremely difficult. But trying to S-rank this bastard, S-ranking him, is, I'm not lying, one of the, if not the hardest thing I've ever done in a video game. Holy crap. The first phase of this boss alone is enough to fill a whole, normal Cuphead boss. The first phase, oh my god. On regular, it's already pretty bad, at least for me, but the fact that there's 2 fireballs, on top of all the other crap you have to dodge, coming at you all the time, and there's no break, there's no levity from it. Even if you use a super on him and try to speed it up, it's still not enough to make it go by quick enough. It's just, oh my god, there's so much to dodge. It is a nightmare in the first phase alone, and this is the beginning of the fight. The beginning of the fight. Chances are, if you're trying to S-rank him, you're going to be restarting that first phase more than any other phase. More than any other phase. I guarantee it. But once you survive that nightmare, you still have the rest of the fight. And you still have the second phase, which is still pretty hard. It's still annoying. There's a lot of crap to dodge. There's just so much. You have the fireball still chasing you. There's 2 of them this time, not the one, which makes it even more just a pain in the ass. Then you have the salt pepper shaker still shooting the crap at you a lot faster. Then you have him throwing the mints, which I mistakenly called Fimes in the regular mode difficulty. I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm an idiot, but we're used to that. Throwing the mints up at you, and it's just so claustrophobic. This whole fight is just so claustrophobic. It's like Wally Warbles, but on land. That's really all it is for me, on ground. But then, once you get past the second phase, and you somehow manage to survive without too much trouble, then you have the third phase, which is still whatever in this. I mean, there's more of the saws or whatever they are on the bottom of the screen. It goes by slightly faster, but it's still the very whatever phase, the break phase, definitely the break. But then you have the final phase, which is still the final stretch. You gotta jump on platforms, parry his heart going around whenever you can, and just try to shoot down at him. And that final phase alone is why you need like some kind of targeting one, either the crack shot or chaser, or both if you're weird like that. But I'm not judging. But that's why you need a targeting one, because it's so hard, on top of everything that's going on, to keep shots consistently on him. And if you let that phase last too long, chances are you're going to mess up because your focus and your attention span is fading, and you're just going to die. I mean, your focus and attention span is already going to be fading because you're trying to do the freaking first phase and the second phase with all that crap flying at you. It's just, oh my god, this boss on Expert. Fighting him on Expert is already hard enough, but if you want to S-rank him, good fucking luck. Look, I'm telling you this. If you were able to consistently S-rank this guy, if you're at a level where you can consistently S-rank this guy without any trouble, I applaud you. You are the god of Cuphead, okay? If you're at that level, I applaud you. I applaud you so much. Even if you're able to just beat him over and over on Expert consistently with no trouble, I still applaud you for that, you know? But like, oh my god, I saw Baker on Expert. Oh my god. I don't think there's any debate, no controversy behind this one. He is the single hardest boss to do on Expert. And I don't think really anyone's going to contest with that, because oh my god. And if you do contest with that, you do find him easy, you want to leave it in the comments, feel free to. And if you are one of those people that find him not too bad, I applaud you. And you are seriously skilled, and I need to learn from you. Please teach me your ways. But anyway, that is the entire Cuphead Expert boss tier list. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you don't agree with this, this is my opinion. This is my own personal opinion. So if you don't agree, you don't agree, and you want to leave your own thoughts and why you disagree in the comments, please feel free to do so. But please do not be douches about it. Okay? We can all be respectful. We can all be gentlemen about this, I guess, or gentlewomen. Trying to be PC. It is 2023 after all. We can all be genteel about this. We don't have to insult each other. We don't have to make death threats towards everyone else or anyone else's mother because we didn't rank the bosses in your preferred difficulty, or we thought one was harder than the other, or easier than the other, or whatever. You can feel free to leave your disagreements in the comments, but please be nice about it. If you agree with this list, leave a comment down below. If you disagreed, leave a comment. Leave a comment down below what you thought about this video and what you thought about the different bosses. Or even if you don't care about Cuphead and you want to just leave a comment anyway, feel free to do so. I'd be happy to hear what you have to say. So, until next time, stay cool. And, yeah. Bye-bye. You have a nice day.